Lane's only made three because they rarely take left right tackles.
They just move left tackles over to the
Yeah,
right hand side for
yeah,
Pro Bowl purposes. All
yeah.
right, that could come down to Lane or Mailata. Maga guys here on Birds 365. We got a football game tonight. The Washington football team is in town. A couple days later than expected. NFL juggled their schedule, gave Washington a bit of a break because they had so many COVID positives. So it will be a better roster that the Washington football team will put out there tonight than would have been if they played on Sunday. Are the Eagles at a disadvantage? Yes. Did they get shortchanged? Yes. Was this 100% completely fair to the Eagles? No. Did they get screwed? Some people have taken that further than I think it needs to be taken. To get screwed, I think someone has to have intent. And I don't think the NFL intent was there to screw the Philadelphia Eagles. It was a happenstance, a circumstance, and it's unfortunate. But here's the bottom line, folks. They got to win tonight's game. Whatever the reasons, how we got here, what went down with rescheduling the game and moving it, and the players that Washington got back, doesn't matter. They have to win the football game. They're capable of winning the football game. I think they are a better team than Washington. You're supposed to have home field advantage tonight, even though they're 1-4 at home this year. John, they just got to go out and win the football game tonight. No excuses, no explanations, no after the fact the NFL stiffed us. No, the Philadelphia Eagles are supposed to win this football game tonight.
Yeah. I mean, the ball's on the tee. Just hit it. Everybody's watching Tiger and his son. Just hit the ball. It's on the tee for you. Yeah. You're right. I like the way you described it. I've been trying to describe it all week. You probably did it better than me in about a 15-second clip. So bravo. It was just circumstance. It wasn't any intent to screw the Philadelphia Eagles. I might steal your explanation, Jody, just to let you know.
Hey, we're a team, brother. You share with
Um,
me, I share with you.
it is what it is, and you saw it last night with two other teams dealing with similar issues, and they both overachieved, and they both were closer than people expected, but they both lost. They both lost at the end of the day because they didn't have enough bullets in the chamber. They just didn't have enough players, didn't have enough talent. Um, I think the number is 17 on the COVID list as we speak right now um, for the Washington football team. Um, significant attrition, but there's a bigger number. I'm going to give you a bigger number than 17, and that number is 29. And that is the number of transactions in Garrett Gilbert's career. 29.
Get out of here.
20,
29 transactions?
29 transactions. He's 30 years old. He's almost got his age beat. It's Garrett Gilbert, people. Now, again, maybe Kyle Allen, and I got to keep an eye on what's going on there. But even that is Kyle Allen. Still competent, and he's been with Ron Rivera, knows the system, so that would improve their chances.
Let me hop in. I apologize for interrupting, but I don't want to forget this, and I think our listeners and viewers should know this. What's the time frame to today? Is there a hard and fast time frame for announcements? Is it they can pop up at any time? You got to be on NFL.com on your phone or whatever else for the latest updated roster moves. Is there a method to the madness on how the NFL will dispense the information today? Who is or isn't playing in tonight's game?
Remember, everything has changed as of Monday, so everything is still a little bit fluid. So I don't have the exact answer. I know you have to have your 90 minutes before kickoff. Obviously, you have to have all your inactives and everything's locked in. What I can tell you is teams generally test when you get to the facility in the morning. So, It's a rapid test. We should know pretty quickly this morning. I was thinking about yesterday. I'm trying to pull up Washington's PR stuff. 18 hours. So it was about mid-afternoon when they announced their moves yesterday. It's probably be in the same range.
Gotcha.
Today.
So sometime early afternoon, be on the lookout. There could be additions. There could be a quarterback added to the list that might not be the most transaction player in the history of the National Football League as quarterback for the Washington football team.
Oh, I'm sure there are players with more than that. But man, he started in St. Louis, New England, Detroit, Oakland, Carolina, Cleveland, Dallas, New England, Washington.
That's a lot of movement. Johnny Mac, that's a lot of teams.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one, Josh McCown has got way more than that. Our old buddy.
That's true, too.
Yeah, our old buddy. You ever see that photo of Josh McCown's one of his daughters with her friends?
All the jerseys.
Every jersey, just it's phenomenal.
That was pretty damn cool. John, here's something we haven't touched on yet today, and I did check. I would say 5 minutes before the show started this morning. Philadelphia weather. It's going to be down.
It's cold, man.
Going to be down in the 30s by 7 o'clock kickoff tonight. We'll be below 40 degrees. Won't be freezing. It'll be in the high 30s, 38, 39, but it's going to be in the 30s at kickoff. And there is a chance of showers. Now, what they're projecting is not till after midnight, and with a 7 o'clock start, this game should be well over before midnight. So I don't think precipitation plays any factor in the game, but it's going to be cold. And although I'm going to be sitting here ensconced in Shea McDonald in front of my 40-inch screen, you're going to actually be down there in what should be a warm press box, but the players are going to be out there in the elements. I can't feel too badly for them because it's a late December game. It's not just a December game. It's a late December game because for me, first 10 days are early, mid 10 days are middle, last 10 days are late. So we're looking at a late December game. So it should actually be played in the 30s. How much of a factor do you think weather is in tonight's game?
Yeah, it's definitely a factor. I mean, anytime you get these weather games, now it is two East Coast teams used to playing weather games in theory. So I don't think it could be much worse, as you mentioned. But that's the Northeast in football. That's why I always joke running the football doesn't matter until it matters. And that generally happens in December in the Northeast or the Midwest. The Eagles have already started running the football. So it shouldn't affect either of these two teams as much as, say, a dome team or if the LA Rams were coming in, West Coast team not used to playing in this type of weather. I don't think it'll have much impact. It might affect the kickers a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be very windy. And the Eagles have certainly a big advantage from place kicking standpoint. Jake Elliott's having an arguably Pro Bowl year. Washington's been through, I think this is their fourth kicker. So maybe that affects the kickers a little bit, and Jake Elliott would certainly be better equipped to handle that.
All right, Johnny Mac, I'm going to ask you to go out on a little bit of a limb here. If you don't want to, just say, no, I'll stay right here. If I told you that not the Jackson 5, but the Jackson 2 here in Philadelphia, that would be Tyron Jackson on the defensive side and Tyree Jackson on the offensive side, neither of which these rookie guys has made a splash this year, although both at times have been talked up pretty good. And the tight end to this point, Tyree, has exactly one target for the entire year. And oh, by the way, he's been active for how many weeks in a row now? Like 5?
Yeah, he hasn't played very much, but if you go back to the Zach Ertz trade and what Howie Roseman said, you thought you were going to see a little bit more Tyree Jackson. Hasn't, but they haven't thrown the ball, Jody. They don't
Yeah,
throw
it's
the
true.
football.
They're running the football, and if again, credit or discredit PFF as much as you want, they actually say he's a better blocker than Toth when they put him out there. But I thought after the glowing reports that John McMullen gave me about the unicorn that he looked like in practices this summer, that we would be getting some plays out of Mr. Jackson. It hasn't happened. Which of the
Yeah,
two?
but Jody, in my defense, I also said he is a developmental prospect and it's going to take a while, but he does have tremendous, tremendous athleticism. And that's exactly what's happening. I
Mm,
mean, it's going to take a while. Logan Thomas is interestingly, he is sort of the template of what they're hoping to create. Because he was a high level quarterback, I believe, at Virginia Tech, if I'm correct. Um, and he's now a really, really good tight end. But it took him a while to get there. I'm just looking up real quick that uh, Tyree Jackson snaps 87 total. He's been on the field for
and they've
87.
thrown it to him
Yeah.
once, and he didn't make the play. But I just love to see him make a catch tonight. Which one has a better chance of making a big play? Tyron on the defense or Tyree on the offense? Which Jackson brother you buying into?
Oh, I'm gonna go Taron there because he's going to play more. So he'll have more
How many
opportunities.
snaps is he getting per game?
Let me look up Toronto. He's been playing more, a little bit more, not a ton, but I'll give you the exact numbers as soon as I can find them. He's played 166 snaps overall, but he was barely playing at all early in the season. So week 1 he had 2, for instance. Week 3 he had 5. So if you look at the last month, he's had 9, 20, 19, 19. So the
Okay.
last 3
Yeah, they're
games he's been,
trending up. You're right. You
yeah,
got a good call on that.
yeah. So
All
he's
right.
playing a little bit more, uh, and he's been okay. He's been okay as a rotational player over the past. So he'll probably be out there a little bit more. So maybe the ball bounces his way.
Okay, we're hoping for a Jackson brother contribution tonight. All right, we brought this up earlier last hour when Paul Domowitch was on. It was the first time I brought it up, and I want to get John's read on it even more succinctly here. I know that we need to get through tonight's game. The Eagles have to find a way to win the contest against the Washington football team. But there is going to be Pro Bowl announcements tomorrow on the NFL Network. They've already thrown a couple out there for
By the way,
teams
I'm
that will play.
interested if we don't get that tonight because that's what they were doing last night. Is they were announcing the Pro Bowl players
For the
of
teams that were playing.
yeah, and I'm wondering if they're going to do that tonight. So
Maybe.
as soon as I get down there, I'll ask somebody. But yeah, so we might get some early news
All
on
right.
that.
So we both agree, you, me, and Damo, as a matter of fact, all three of us agree, Jason Kelsey damn close to a lock to be a Pro Bowl center.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, you have reputation and performance, and when that meets, you got a pretty good shot.
Both you and Damo think that reputation and maybe some performance. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know that Lane Johnson's going to make it. Damo said he thinks they're getting 3 across the offensive line. I would actually suggest, even though left tackle is the tougher tackle because most teams try and put their best players there to cover up their quarterback's blind side, I actually think Mailata has a better chance of making the Pro Bowl than Lane Johnson does. If I told you 2 Eagle offensive linemen are going to make the Pro Bowl, which 2 you taking?
I'm taking Kelsey, obviously, and Lane Johnson
Really?
for reputation. Now, here's the problem, though. Here's the problem, Jody. In the NFC at left tackle, you have Trent
Trent
Williams,
Williams, yeah.
you have Tyron Smith, you have Andrew Whitworth. Now, Mailata deserves to go certainly over Whitworth, maybe even over Smith.
Yeah.
Williams is going. Williams is the best player in
Williams is a
football
lock.
this year.
He's going to be the starter.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. But I'll take Mailata's performance over either of those other two this year.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I think that's where reputation comes in from the other standpoint. Tyron Smith is Tyron Smith. How many Pro Bowls has he made? I'll look it up real quick. It's a lot. And it becomes one of those things where, and by the way, he's still a really good player. I don't want to, I think he should make it as the backup over Whitworth. 8 times, 8-time Pro Bowler.
Has he really made 8?
Yeah.
I would have guessed 5 or 6.
8.
Damn.
2010 All-Decade Team. He's going. So Williams and Smith are going. Does he make it over Whitworth? I think he deserves it. But, Whitworth is on a good team. He's 40 years old. Everybody makes a big deal about being the first over 40 starting left tackle. I think that hype gets him over the top. I don't think it's – but Damo brings up an interesting point as well, is that people are intrigued by Jordan Mailata. So that's going to be something really interesting to look at.
And
Lane Johnson, the reputation works in his favor. He's the reputation guy.
Right. The two tackles, one has a longer resume. And how many Pro Bowls has Lane made? Not as many as Tyron Smith, I guarantee
not
you
as
that.
many as Tyron, but let's see. We'll look up Lane real quick. But Trent Williams is that guy. He's on a different level from everybody. Lane is at 3.
3 Pro Bowls. Okay, well, that's certainly more than Jordan has made. But I'm just trying to be. Maybe I'm cockeyed. Maybe I'm stupid. And I did ask you a question: who's going to make it, not who should make it. And maybe I'm overly optimistic and got eagle-colored glasses on, but I think the kid has had a phenomenal year at left tackle for the Eagles, and I think he should be rewarded. Did I break down film of either the Rams left tackle or the Cowboys left tackle? No, I haven't. But I've seen what Jordan Mailata does, and I think he's played to a Pro Bowl type level.
Yeah.
I get it that that's not the way it has happened over the last 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years. There is reputations involved, and it is a bit of a popularity contest. And having a resume and a lengthy one helps you actually make the team, which is what Jordan's got to work against. But we'll see if he actually does. All right, Eagle wide receivers going to make this?
No.
No.
Real quick, before I get to the receivers, I do want to mention, and that's the bigger issue. So at left tackle, you have Williams, you have Smith, you have Whitworth you got to deal with. At right tackle, it's Tristan Wirfs, who's really good. He's going to make it. Ryan
Except
Ramczyk,
he's not going to make go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Ryan Ramczyk, who's really good, but he's hurt. And then Rob Havenstein at right tackle. So it's not as difficult as right tackle. Now, you could take all left tackles. It doesn't matter. But Lane isn't dealing with the names that Jordan has to deal with. But,
do you know if that's the case, John? That I'm trying to remember as best I can, and maybe I'm devoting too much time to this.
Lane's only made 3 because they rarely take right tackles.
They just move left tackles over to the right hand side for Pro Bowl purposes. All right, that could come down to Lane or Mailata. They could be weighed against each other for that last tackle spot. All right, wide receivers, no. Running backs by committee. No one's had an outstanding individual year. They're not getting any running backs. We talked about this earlier with the tight ends. Both you and Damo agreed. Goddard's in the conversation. They're only going to take 2. Kittle's a lock. And I hate to say it, and I know he's only a rookie, and he's kind of a hybrid tight end. But numbers, if reputation helps, numbers rule the day. And Pitts just put up better numbers than Goddard. Sorry, I don't think Goddard's making it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. Yeah, it's interesting. In Dallas, isn't in that category as somebody who's made multiple Pro Bowls, so people aren't going to default to him. So you're probably right for that. Landon Dickerson's a guy under. Sometimes they like to look towards rookies. Um, is a guy who is sort of under the radar now, maybe a long shot um, at offensive guard. Um, Defensively, Darius Slay's obvious. He's going to be an all pro, never mind a Pro Bowl player. And then you start talking about Fletcher and Javon Hargrave up front. I think those are the only three names you could even put in the argument for any position. Now, if they took slot corners, which they don't, if it were, and that's one of my pet peeves with the Pro Bowl. Like, I think you should pick a right tackle and a left tackle. I
Right.
think you should pick a right guard and a left guard. I think you should pick a slot corner, but they
And
don't.
and oh, by the way, they take a fullback
Yeah,
every
they
year.
take a fullback. Yeah,
They take a fullback,
yeah,
but they can't individualize positions like slot corner.
yeah.
That just makes no sense to me. If you're going to acknowledge that there is some specific positions that you want to honor and take care of, you should do it with all positions.
I agree, and they don't. And it's so a guy like Avante Maddox who's
Had
having
a hell of a year in the
yeah,
slot.
he's having a really good year. He's not even in the conversation, which is a shame.
That is a shame. Stone cold shame. Your boy Aaron Cepas got a chance to make it as the punter, but no, not really.
He's had a very good year, but yeah, I mean,
Very good.
I think he's been very good. I think he's been. I have no complaints about Aaron Cepas. Really, you have complaints about?
Not complaints, but I haven't been wowed by him. And we're talking about the Pro Bowl here. And oh, by the way, there's one. No chance, no shot. He's the Pro Bowl punter.
Well, I agree with that. I think he's very obviously his first year punting. I'm trying to look him up. Pro Football Focus ranking. They actually rank punters, by the way, for some reason. Number 9. So that's top 10. That's not bad. 9 to 32. That's not bad. Not Pro Bowl, but that's solid.
Top 5, I'd say very good. Top 10 is good. We'll take it. He's probably going to be their punter again this upcoming year, but we'll see about that. Oh,
and long snapper, who knows? I don't have any expertise on long snapper, but Rick Lavada's made it in the past. So.
Hey, he's been around for a long time. Yeah, he's a guy with a resume too.
Yeah, he's made it in the past, so you got to throw Rick in the mix as well.
All right, and there was and yeah, I'm not looking to actively replace CPAS, but I did see somebody have a mock draft having the Eagles drafting a punter in the 6th round. The kid, what friggin' team does he play for? This guy is unbelievable. He's in one of the under conferences. They played Fresno State. Maybe it's San Diego State, San Diego, that they've got a punter who has, and he also is their kicker. He's one of those guys that you get the benefit of having both the punter and the kicker all in one. That this guy's had the biggest punting year in the history of college football this year. Damn it, I apologize for having this going to a brain freeze on me. I should remember his name off the top of my head, and I don't.
I'll try to look up. I know last year the best punter was Presley Harvin from Georgia Tech, who's on Pittsburgh. He got drafted in the 7th round. He's not been good for Pittsburgh. They cut their punter. I forget who their punter was for Presley Harvin, but when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in that draft, coming off the Super Bowl 2018, I advocated that they should draft Michael Dixon, the Seattle punter, because remember Donnie Jones was going to either retire. Turned out he retired, then he came back. But, and, they were very deep. They were considered very deep at the time. So I said, why not? At the time, Dixon was considered the best punter in college football history. And I said, well, you're deep. Why not take a 6th-round pick on a kid like that at punter? He ended up, I think, going in the 5th round. And by the way, he's been very good for Seattle. But I think they're happy. I think they're very happy. I know they're very happy with Aaron Cepos. They're not drafting a punter.
Right. The kid's name is Matt Ariza from San Diego State. He's had like 5 punts of over 80 yards this year. And when I say 80 yards, it's not 50-yard punt that takes a big bounce on the receiver's head and rolls. No, I'm talking 75 yards in the air type punts that this kid from San Diego State has had this kind of season.
Yeah, he won the Ray. I'm just looking up the Ray Guy Award because Presley Harvin won it last year. Matt Ariza, yeah, he won it. So evidently they already handed it out.
And I had seen him punt earlier this year because I was a Fresno State fan. And, I'm on the air till 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays on CBS. So I'm always watching the West Coast football games that nobody's watching unless they actually have betting action on them. But I watch them because I'm up. And I saw this kid punt a couple of times. I said, holy mackerel, what a leg on him. Matt Ariza. Don't think the Eagles will be taking him, but you never really know. All right, here's the deal. We're going to take our final timeout, come back, put a bow on the show. Still got 10 minutes left. Do us a favor. Since you tuned in, since you're ready for some football, we are now just hours away from the Eagles and the Washington football team. We've given you our best here today to try and get you prepped and ready for the game. Like us, share us, subscribe to us here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. We'll come back, put a bow on the show on the Mac and Mac Affair here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel.